Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl B-Marshe. Welcome back to my channel. And this is my review for Put a Ring on It, Season 2, Episode 4. Y'all, I'm tired. It's really late in Texas, but I said I didn't want to do a review for tomorrow because Love and Marriage Huntsville, later on this in the morning, because Love and Marriage Huntsville comes on tomorrow. And I kind of want to watch that and then do my review tomorrow night. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this review out of the way. Hopefully it'll be short, quick, and to the point. Let's get into the review. Okay, so the episodes open up with LaRhonda's letting us know that she wants another date with Sir James. Sean kind of acts a little bit, iffy about that. He does not want her to go on another date with Sir James. But apparently he was acting up that morning. So she said that made her decision a lot easier for her. And I can see that. I can see him giving her a hard time about this date with the whole touching on her behind and all that. Sean does the most. Anywho, Sean says he does want another date with Brittany. He said with a capital Y. Okay, sorry, it wasn't all that necessary. Dr. Nicole checks him on this whole, I guess it's jealousy or like a tit for tat kind of thing that he does. So she kind of wants him to kind of check that. Anyway, this week Eric and Alexia will not be going on dates. They need to be focusing on their communication with their partners. So everybody who said yes to a second date or a third date, in Darion's case, they will all be going on dates. So let's go over and talk about Alexia and Darion. They're at the house, and Alexia kind of asks him how he felt about Dr. Nicole this week, and Darion tells her that he wants them to have a better sex life. Apparently, over the last 14 years, their sex life has kind of trickled down to non-existence. I don't know if it's non-existent. He says they're affectionate as of like, they touch, they hug, and stuff, they kiss, but it's not like actual sex and intimacy. So he just wants them to have a better sex life. He says when she sends him to the doghouse is their condo in downtown, he finally feels like he has some peace. I don't know if that's because, well, he does explain, I'm sorry. He says that because I guess they get into it a lot, and he feels like he has peace, I guess, when he's away from her. And he goes to the condo just to get away from her, or feel like things are getting a little rocky. So that's kind of bad that he has an escape route in my case to get away. But it does bring up Alexia saying that she has feelings that he is doing something at the condo, because she gives an example. She said, I text you at, you text me at 2 a.m. saying you're leaving the studio, because he uses the condo when he's at the studio a lot. And you said, I want some Waffle House, but you didn't show up home until like hours later, like the next morning. So like it's at 8 o'clock. And so she's like, okay, what were you doing between 2 and 8? And that kind of gets her wheels turned that maybe he is cheating. She has no proof that he's cheating. She even says in her confessional that she has never seen him cheat on her, but it's just how he does things and how he's moving makes her think that something's going on. She says that she wants to, that's why she's not being intimate with him, is because of how her suspicions are that he is cheating. And I can see that. He brings up a male friend of hers. He says he doesn't like how he's been seeing her heart eyes on her Instagram page. And it kind of gets him going back and forth about how he supports her and Darion doesn't support her. And he's like, oh, I don't trust him, and blase. They do a lot of tit for tat, and I did say there's some more going on to the relationship than what they're letting on, and I can see now. She tells us how she doesn't like how he talks about Kai, like he knows he's been with her for a long time. Like, I get what she's saying. She's basically saying that when he talks about Kai, and like she even says that, like, why don't you just go be with Kai? She says it in like a dismissive way. She wasn't being serious, but he's like, I bet I will, and I bet she would post me on her Instagram. She's like, I bet she would. Like, she wants him to stop thinking like Kai is his perfect person and like he knows her. Like, I've been knowing you all my life. You'd only known her for 2.5 seconds. Stop acting like, you really know who she is, because you don't. Speaking of Kai, let's go ahead and go over to their date. He has a date with her at the racetrack, the indoor racetrack with those little cars. Really fun. He's excited about going out with her because he's been having a hard time with Alexia at home. I think they've been fighting a lot. And Kai says she likes going out with Darian because he makes her feel wanted, and she could have him if she wanted him. And it's because of the things he says and how it's good that he treats her nice because he's supposed to be a gentleman, but he says things in a way that gives windows to there is problems in their relationship. And I will give you that example in a few seconds. They talk about Alexia on their date after they finish racing. And he tells her about Alexia knowing that Kai is the kind of woman he likes. Again, these are little... I don't know if he knows he does it or if he's just not... He's a man, so he doesn't know what he's doing. Or he might does. He's giving these little open windows like she's intimidated by you. Like, he's giving her opportunities to give her fuel to gas up. Like, yeah, let me keep pushing it. That's what she feels like she can have him if she wanted him. Kai asks if Alexia asked him to stop dating her, would he stop? And he says no, because of the process. He says because of the process, but I think even if the process wasn't there and this was like a free-for-all, like an experiment between him and Kai, and there was no like media, I'm tired, guys. Like Dr. Nicole in between them. I don't think he will stop dating her. I honestly do think he likes Kai, but Kai says that the way he talks about Alexia, she does see that he is in love with her. They've been together for 14 years, so of course he loves her, but I don't know if that flame is as hot as it used to be. So I think that's why he's so attached to Kai. They talk about what Kai is because they didn't want to talk no more about Alexia. And so they talk about Kai's business. She has a beauty bar that she's opening. She talks about her 2 children and how, she fell on hard times when she had her kids, and she had a good family with her. He brings up that he did not have a mother figure like that. His grandparents actually raised him because his mother was too young to raise him. And he does like the fact that she is a family-oriented woman and she has children and she lights up about her children when she talks about them. He has children as well. I did not know Darian had children. This was something new to us, and we'll find out more about his kids a little bit later. So it's good to see that, but I don't know. Darian and Kai, it's too hot of water of the fact that he likes her so much, he keeps bringing it up. But let's get into the conversation he has with Dr. Nicole comes and visit him and Alexia. So Dr. Nicole comes and visit, and Darian and Alexia has been fighting a lot, like I said before. And it's a possibility of Darian is cheating on her. This is what Alexia keeps thinking. She keeps saying it. She keeps hinting at it. He says if she didn't see it, then there was no reason for her to talk about it. Oh, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Yay. Alexia says it's the picture that Darian is painting for her. Like, she brings up another example, and I think this was about them for All-Star Weekend. Like, he's supposed to be going to the condo at a certain time, but he doesn't show up until hours later. Or as an example, he goes out of town, but he doesn't tell her he's out of town until he's out of town already. It's like little things like that makes her think, like, are you with another woman? Like, it has these kind of ideas in her head of thinking, are you doing something you're not supposed to be doing with somebody else? And he thinks like, if you haven't seen me do it, so why are you like, basically accusing me of cheating? It kind of hurts my feelings because I thought we had better trust than that. Darian keeps saying that she's a liar. You're a liar. You're a liar. Stop, you've been lying to this woman. I'm like, this is not... Y'all have got to calm down. I mean, Dr. Nicole couldn't even get a word in. She walked in on a situation that was already on fire. Like, they were just simmering until she got there and she sat down. It was like, go. And it was like, whoa. Okay, Dr. Cole needs them to pull it back. She asked them, what is the root of the problem? Because you're just hitting above the surface. What's the real issue? And it comes down to Alexia seems like all her friends are getting married, of course. She sees them having kids. She doesn't have any children. She's in her 30s. She thinks she said she's 36, if I'm right. She's in her 30s. She doesn't have any children. He has 3 children and all those and 2 baby mamas, and all those children were made within that 14-year time frame. That is her biggest issue. That's what I kept saying. They've said that they've been on and off. I think that off time he had children with other people that were not her, and he gets back with her with these children, and she has no children, and she wants to be with him. I think it's a lot for her to swallow. And she's like, I want this ring, and I want children within a 2-year time frame. And Darian is okay with having children, but he sees that rushing into it would be a mistake, because he sees how the title and the ring brings people to change in their relationship. And the ring and the title doesn't change people. It's more serious, but I can see myself not wanting to be tied down to somebody and be another baby mama. I think that's what she's trying to say without being rude about it. But I don't want to be another baby mama, basically. I want to be your wife, because a wife has way more. A wife is more responsibility. It's more, to me, it's more intimate than being a baby mama. Because after so many years, yes, I'm attached to you through a child, but I'm your wife. I'm your responsibility. I am your emergency contact. To me, that's a deeper, more spiritual union than just having a child with him. So she wants that ring, and he is not ready for that. And I think if she says she just wanted kids, I think he'd be all for it. But I think ever since she said she wanted to get married and have these children, Darian has had a problem, and this has started to bring up issues in their relationship. So hopefully they can work it out, but I do think that Alexia might need to leave the situation. I don't think she should waste any more of her time. You've given him all of your 20s and majority of your 30s. I think you should cut the ties right now, because it doesn't seem like it's going to change anytime soon. And Dr. Nicole basically tells them that she wants them to stop sweeping things under the rug. She's never going to tell them to leave the situation, but unless it's dire, I think that she probably should tell Alexia that you need to possibly think about leaving the situation, because I don't see anything changing from the situation. They're going to be stagnant in the same place, and Darian's son seems pretty adamant about it. Let's move over to LaRonda and Sean. Sean goes on a date with Brittany. He meets her at the studio because y'all know Brittany is going to get these producers to sign her, okay? She's going to take this opportunity, honey, and get y'all to hear her vocal cords. She sounds pretty decent. She sounds like a pretty decent singer. She only sung a few notes, so I can't give my deep my words are all over the place, y'all. I can't give I can't give a good opinion about whether another girl can sing or not. She sounds pretty decent, okay? He asks her why she was single. I hate this question when I'm dating. Do not ask me why am I single. I don't know why. It just comes out condescending. And I just hate this question. But she does ask, and she answers it. She says she opens up about her past relationships, not taking her career serious, and putting a lot of energy into her work. Just like any artist, I'm pretty sure she meets people that don't think that she really wants to be a songwriter or a singer or whatever she wants to be in this music industry. They probably don't take her serious because, it's a very shaky industry, and the chance of you making it is like 1 out of a million. So I can see that. And of course, it takes a lot of energy, a lot of time. So yeah, you might find that most people do not want you to be at the studio at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And that kind of is the studio hours. So I can see her putting more energy into her work and not focusing on dating. Over the course of the conversation, they see they have a lot in common, and Sean kind of cuts the date short. Once he notices that he has a lot in common with Brittany, he says that basically he's like, oh, well, I need to go home. It's like he was stopping himself from really enjoying the surroundings and enjoying the situation, enjoying the process. And it's kind of boring. I don't know. It gave Brittany kind of mixed vibes on whether or not he wants to go on another date with her. I can see that Sean is kind of taking this process very lightly, like he's afraid he's going to do something, and I don't know why. But let's move over to LaRonda. Her date with Sir James. He took her to a bowling alley. They're having a great time. You know, LaRonda likes to have fun, like I said before. They're very big on competitive. They're very both competitive. I don't know why my words are all crazy tonight. They're both competitive, like I just said. They talk about the dragon. That's what they were calling Sean. He was a dragon. Because last day he was acting crazy. All that overly passive aggressive, those stares and looks. And she asked if Sir James put his hand on her back. She asked if he did that, and he said he did put his hand on her, lower her back. He wanted to make sure she didn't trip. A lot of men do it. It's not, they do it so often, I think, to the point where we don't notice it sometimes. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. If we like in the vibe, we'll let it slide. But it's not a big deal. As long as he's not putting his hands on my ass, I'm okay. She asked about his last relationship, and he says it was the worst relationship he ever had. She stepped out of the relationship a lot. He's talking about his past girlfriend. And he did not like the situation at all. He kind of didn't talk much about it. I don't know how they edited it out very shortly, but he just said that it was the worst relationship he ever had. She was trifling, that's what he called her. He asked about he asked if there was something missing from her and Sean's relationship. Like, what is it? And she said Sean's insecurities and his constant need to want to know where she is at, what she's doing, who she's with. He said it sounds like a parent. And she says yes. She thinks they can fix this issue, but it's become very draining. Like I said, Sean is wearing her the hell out, okay? To the point of all these insecurities. And she looks like a girl who wants to have a good time. She just doesn't want Sean insecurities to overlap their relationship. And like I said, he has so many underlying issues that he needs to deal with personally within himself that he shouldn't be in a relationship right now. He needs to deal with those issues before he can fully give himself to her in a relationship. Overall, she had a good time with Sir James. She does like his confidence, and she wished that Sean has those same confidence. I think it's what attracts her to Sir James. But let's move over to Jessica and Eric. Like I said, Eric didn't have a date this time around, so it's just Jessica's date. Jessica and Eric were in the car before she went on her date a few days prior, and they just talk about the process, and she lets them know that she is finding it hard for people to date other people in this process. Like, she sees it in other relationships. She also sees it with herself. She didn't think it was going to be this hard. He was kind of like, why do you think it was going to be hard? She's like, I don't know. I think it's like the insecurities with herself, as well as seeing him go on dates with other women. It's just a lot of trust. And this is a process where you need to have full trust in your partner and full trust in yourself. And Jessica and Eric don't have that with neither one of them. So I can see her not really taking this process very well. She does let us know in the confessional that she wants Eric to show her that he cares. Show her that he basically wants her. And I think that he puts on this front of like being so hard and being so manly that he doesn't show her that want and need from her. And we're going to hear more about that need and want a little bit later. So she goes on a date with Clarence to the gym, of course. And while they're working out, Jessica sees that Clarence is sexually attracted to her, but he does it in a respectful way. He says nice compliments. He'll tell her, oh no, Stan, let's turn this way. So that way, you know, it's a better view. So he can watch her ass. But like, he does like little compliments, things that us women will know, like, okay, he's sexually attracted to us. Which is great because you want someone to be sexually attracted to you. She does get him to take off his shirt during the workout, of course, because we want to see that body, yada, yada. And yeah, he has a body. Yes, he does, because he is a bodybuilder. He basically told her before he took his shirt off, he was like, I'm about to unwrap a package, right? And she's like, okay, well, let's see it. And it did not disappoint, okay? So during their workout, when he takes his shirts off, she sees this tattoo, and she's like, who's Donna? Was it Donna? I think it was Donna. No, Dana. It was Dana. He's like, who's Dana? And he's like, oh, that's my ex-wife. And she's like, oh, okay, so let's sit down and talk about this ex-wife. And she asks us, okay, so why'd you guys break up? He said, well, I'm a bodybuilder. I'm out of town a lot. There was some infidelity. We got married when I was 23 years old. So we were very young. We basically grew apart. That happens a lot when you get married really young. So we didn't kind of know how to keep the relationship together. I don't regret it. Like, I did love her. That's what he basically said. But he knew that they didn't need to be together anymore, because when he came home from bodybuilding competitions, she wants to go out. And he's like, well, I've been gone for so long, I just want to stay at home. So they just kind of, it's being equally yoked, and it's better to get married a little bit later in your 20s than versus really early, because you're still growing. And that just, their relationship just didn't work out. He asked her about Eric and why he hasn't wiped her up yet, because she's beautiful, she's smart. Why hasn't he wiped you? And she's like, well, I'm ready, he's not, we have communication issues. But she quickly gets off of that conversation, because she does not want to talk about Eric on the date. She thinks that he needs to focus on her and on himself and not worry about Eric. But everybody's going to ask about your significant other, because you're technically not single. So there's only so much I can ask you. I can ask you tons of things, but I want to know, like, how that relationship is. Like, is there a window of opportunity, or is this something that's going to be like just an experiment? Which 9 times out of 10 is just an experiment. So let's move over to the meeting with Dr. Nicole. So let's start with Eric and Jessica and Eric with Dr. Nicole. Eric and Jessica says they need to have more sit-down conversations. I like the fact they're aware of their issues, but they never apply the awareness. It's like, I know I have a broken leg, but instead of going to the doctor and fixing my broken leg, I'm just gonna keep hopping around on it. Like, that's how they function. Like, we know we have issues, but we're not trying to actively fix those issues. They have been, he says when they fight, they just kind of fight and then they move on like nothing happened. Like, they don't talk about it. So Dr. Nicole's like, okay, so when does the practicing resolving conflict comes into play? Eric says, oh, we need to work on it. Again, it's always like, we need to work on it. We need to work on it. He says he don't like putting their problems on people. Most people don't want to hear your problems. He includes Jessica in that group. And that causes a little bit of back and forth, because you're saying you don't like to put your problems on people, and you're saying Jessica is one of those people that don't like to hear people's problems. And she's like, well, I give you advice all the time. And he basically says, because the advice she gives is, I've already thought about it, and there's no point to giving the advice if I thought about it. And she's like, well, the advice I give you is very serious. He said, oh, I mean, not that your advice doesn't matter, but if she's giving you advice I've already thought about, then the advice is useless. And I was like, that was harsh. And Jessica was hurt by it, because I could see why she would be, because it makes you feel like I can't communicate with you, and I'm trying to give you advice, but you're not even taking the advice. You're like, oh, well, I got it. Don't worry about it. I got it. It's like, then what's the point of me? Like, what's the point? Why am I here if I'm not here to help you make your life easier? You're not here to help me make my life easier. Then what's the point? And Dr. Nicole says that he needs to be more open with Jessica and make her feel useful, and not act like he's single. That's what he's moving like. He's moving like there's not another person there to help him lift up this load he's carrying. He wants to get carried all by himself, and Jessica's sitting right there, and he's not willing to put her into the process. And he needs to do that more. Jessica says in the beginning that she always used to beg him to open up more. And Dr. Nicole's like, who likes to beg? Sean was like, if it's for the right reasons. Yeah, if it's for the right reasons. But in your relationship, you don't want to be begging for someone to open up to you. Like, if I'm begging you to open up to me, then we don't need to be together anymore, because I feel like then you don't trust me to be open with me. I want you to be open with me willingly over time, not me, come on, open up, open up, open up. Then why the hell are you staying? Like, They're another one and I'm thinking like, you guys probably would serve better apart and then getting back together. Like, he needs to learn how life is without her or something. I don't know. Their relationship is a little weird, but they're probably gonna stay together because she's not leaving and neither is he. Like, she's the best thing he ever had and she is the best thing he ever had as well. Anywho, let's talk about the date. Jessica's date went good, but she says that Clarence don't excite her. She likes to go out, she likes to turn up. He doesn't give her excitement like Eric does, so she doesn't want a second date. I can see that happening. I would get a second date with him. He kind of fits my vibe, but you know, Jessica likes to party, and he didn't seem like the party go type. So let's move into LaRhonda and Sean. And she talked about the date. LaRhonda felt like the date went well, but she felt like she was leading a lot of the conversation with Sir James, and she wants her man to show her interest, and so she doesn't want to do a second date with him. Of course, Sean was super duper happy, like so happy. He's like, I just got a candy. Like, calm down. Like, she's going to go on more dates. Like, this process is not over, Sean. Again, you have many more weeks to go. So you need to get used to her saying yes or no to dates, okay? Anywho, Sean, date went well. He talked about his date. His only problem with his date is that he found it to be too compatible. And he doesn't want to put himself in a situation that he cannot get out of. Basically, I like her too much. I don't want to touch fire. I see that fire is hot. Let me go this way. And Dr. Nicole lets him know, you said the same thing about your last date. And this whole process is about putting trust within yourself and within your relationship. And they're all like, well, it seems like he doesn't trust himself, basically. And he needs to have more trust within himself that he's not going to cross the boundaries that are disrespectful to LaRhonda. But they ask him again, do you want to go on a date with Brittany? And he says that he's going to put himself back in the lion's den and go on a date with Brittany. Like, I'm going to do this. I can do this. Like, can you, Sean? Can you now? Okay. Hopefully you can do this, guys. Let's move over to Alexia and Darian because they had an explosive one. Okay, so Darian and Alexia finally talked about their issues with him. And he lets her know that All-Star weekend, this is what he was, this is what he was doing. He showed her pictures. He basically took away all her concerns, and she felt good about the conversation, that she can trust him, and what he said was truthful. Perfect. They solved an issue. But Darian still has an issue with her guy friends. And he's like, I trust you, but I don't trust them. And do you trust me? So, Dr. Nicole lets them know that they are going to be friends in your life that have your best interests in your relationships, best interests at heart. However, there are going to be people in your life that do not have those same interests, and you need to remove those people. And he's basically telling, I got to clean up sometime Dr. Nicole's logic because she be going on to this whole little tantrum and nobody got time for all that. He's basically telling them, like, just know what friends are there for the right reasons and who are there to make sure your relationship falls to crumbles so they can come pick up the pieces, okay? So Darian and her might need to work out this whole her guy friends thing because it seems like she has a lot of guy friends. She does seem like the girl who keeps a lot of guy friends, who's not that girly girl kind of type woman. So he probably needs to get used to it and find a way to be more trusting in her friendships, maybe get to know the guys a little bit better so that way he feels more comfortable. So they talk about the date. Darian says that his date went well, as always. He likes the communication. When asked to see her, did he see himself being with her? He says if there was no Alexia, then easy. Doesn't say yes, he just says easy. And Alexia gets bothered by this because she's like, you don't know her. Like, you've been knowing me for 14 years. You have known this lady for a short period of time. So why would it be easy? Like, oh yeah, it'll be easy. Again, he's moving in this process. Like, I don't know. Darian's moving like he knows this girl. Like, he's moving like she's he's like putting a lot of bank and a lot of eggs in Kai's basket to not really know her. I don't know if these dates are way longer than what we're seeing on television. I don't know if they're having multiple dates outside of the television. I don't know, but he's moving in a way that I would feel like there's something more going on between him and Kai. Like, are you guys communicating outside of these dates? Why you feel like this? I don't know. Where was I? I'm sorry, I lost my place. Okay, yes, it says easy. And so Darian does agree to go on a 4th date with Kai. And of course, Alexis gets mad to the point that she just walks the hell out. Okay? And she's like, I'm not about to sit here and let somebody make me look like a fool. I get it, girl. I understand. I think it was Sean who told Darian that he needs to go after her. When he finally gets up, like, he was like kind of sitting there for a second like he wasn't gonna move. And I was like, if you don't get your black ass up and goes after your girlfriend, like, what the hell's wrong with you? So he goes after her, and the first thing he says is not if you're okay, not if babe come back, come on, let's talk this out. No, why are you got a problem with Kai? Why you got a problem with this girl? Again, Darian, stop putting fuel to this already lit fire. Like, come on. Whew, I don't know, y'all. It's a lot. They got some big issues. I'm telling you. Alexia has her foot halfway out of this door, and baby needs to go ahead and walk out of it. Just walk out of it. Just walk out of it. 14 years is way too long to be playing around with somebody. But anywho, y'all, I'm tired. That was the end of the episode. I hope I see you guys next week for another review. Please check out my review for Love and Marriage Huntsville. I should have it up tomorrow night. If not, it'll definitely be up Sunday morning. I have to put up early because I'm going to brunch. So check out my Love and Marriage Huntsville tomorrow. Also check out Grownish, and I'm also doing Potomac as well. Okay, so check out those other videos on my channel, and I will see you guys for the next video. Y'all have an amazing day.